New tonight, Gadsden County securing $2 million in grants to fund library improvements in the town of Havana. Officials there say the original plan for the library was to add another story to it with the addition of an elevator. The cost of the elevator alone, though, would have taken a quarter of their funding. So the council made the request instead to expand outward rather than upward. They say they could then use the would-be cost of the elevator, $500,000, for other parts of the library.
It can be used to enlarge the footprint of the library, where the building itself can be bigger. There can be more capacity for a theater room or, workforce development, capability. It can be used to enhance the library in a way that, provides better services.
Havana officials say they will now have the county reallocate the elevator funding towards that change in design.